tip! Stop the York 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 tip!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the rally objecting to the Great Southern Landfill on Alawoona Farm, west of York. Thank you all for coming today, and it's fantastic to see so many faces standing united. I ask that everyone please turn their phone onto silence, but please feel free to take lots of photos to upload to your social media later. I should also remind everyone that this is a peaceful, respectful and appropriate event. However, I still encourage you to make your presence known to the WA Labor Government and your displeasure towards the Minister for Environment. Without further ado, I would like to welcome our first speaker to the stage, Kay Davies, who will provide some insights and context around the proposal. Welcome, Mum.
Thank you, Jake, and thank you all very much for coming. We're here today to protest against the approval of the Great Southern Landfill proposal at Alawoona St Ronan's. This proposal involves the transportation of metropolitan waste by road trains through Greenmount and Mundaring, dumping 250,000 tonnes of Class 2 and 3 decaying waste for the next 28 years. The initial phase will destroy 31 Carnaby foraging trees and has a footprint of 163 hectares, which is equivalent to 4,000 house blocks. This landfill will have a devastating impact upon the community of York and Mundaring. It threatens to destroy the considerable tourism industry that York has built. Great Southern Highway, which is only a highway in name, is less than 7 metres wide and will cause catastrophic accidents. This proposal will contaminate the Mundaring Weir water catchment area and our waterways. It will compromise the protected national forest and further endanger our Carnaby cockatoo population. There is a birthing site on Alawoona that is of great importance to the Noongar Balladong people and an alleged burial site. There has been no consultation with elders and Aboriginal culture has been ignored. I could tell you all about the history of this proposal and what has occurred over the last 14 years. I could speak about when CETA came to York and described the outrage from the community. I could tell you how overjoyed we all were when CETA decided to abandon the proposal and how devastated the community was when Elkana resumed it. I could talk about the 3 joint development assessment panels where they voted no every time. And I could describe the injustice that we've had to endure with many government assessments where we have not been heard. But instead, let me share some facts with you. There are 10 existing landfills currently serving the Perth and Peel area. The collective waste disposal of these sites is 2.6 million tonne. One waste-to-energy facility has already been completed in Kwinana and another is being constructed in Rockingham. The EMRC have estimated that these 2 facilities alone will reduce our waste disposal to landfill by 50%, leaving the 10 existing landfills struggling to operate below their licence limits. We do not need the Alawoona landfill. We do not need any new landfills at all. And I find it disrespectful to the people of WA that the Environmental Minister is lying and stating that we do, because we don't. The Great Southern Landfill was designed in 2012. The design and management for this proposal is already 13 years old before construction begins. This is already obsolete technology. We don't need landfills for at least another 40 years, even without implementing any further waste management improvements. So ask yourself this: how will we be managing waste in 2065? I guarantee you that your answer will not be to use 50-year-old technology from 2012. Unlike the existing 10 landfills, the Allawilla landfill will be exempt from a metropolitan waste levy of $150 a tonne. This will rob the state and the people of WA of $37.5 million per annum. That is $37.5 million less towards our essential services. Make no mistake, this proposal does not align in any shape or form with Labor's own waste policies. It actively undermines much of the progress that the Labor government has already achieved for waste management in WA. Instead of destroying our environment, a smart and responsible government would concentrate on how they could further improve our waste management. We, the people, standing here of Western Australia, are firmly united in our opposition to the Allawuna landfill, and we demand that our government reverse Minister Swinburne's decision.
Thank you very much for that stirring speech. I would now like to invite Shane Love, the leader of the WA Nationals Party and former leader of the opposition, to speak.
Thanks very much, Jake, and thank you, Kay, for all you've done to stand up for your community for these many years. And I sat behind another warrior for the Central Wheat Belt for many, many years in Parliament, in Mia Davies, and I've heard her many times speak out against this landfill proposal over the years. And the reasons why she put that up was things like traffic. We know the road out there is not suitable for 250,000 tonnes of waste to come out on it every year. We know that there is no need for this facility. Kay has spoken about the waste-to-energy plants which are developing. I had meetings with the councils who are behind the Red Hill tip. Many of them have got out of it now because they were looking at losing 3/4 of their revenue flow by that waste-to-energy plants opening up down in Kwinana area. So we know that this rubbish tip is not needed. This is a slap in the face for the people of the Central Wheat Belt, the Avon Valley and the Hills in Western Australia. And you've got two sterling members of Parliament here, in the member for Central Wheat Belt and the member for Kalamunda, who are going to take the fight up on this one, because we know this is not necessary, it's not right. I was actually the local member for 2J when Opal Vale was developed into a tip, and I stood with the community then because I knew that that was a disaster that was on its way. And what we've seen is successively happen with these proposals is that ministers for the environment go weak at the knees. They go weak at the knees and they give in. And they shouldn't. They should stand with the community, stand with the environment, and stand with the commitments that were made by the candidate for Central Wheat Belt for the Labor Party before the election. Speak up loud, and speak up proud.
Thanks, Shane. We very much appreciate that. I would now like to invite Adam Hort to represent the Liberals. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone, and thank you for turning out today. You're left an impression on Parliament House today, and continue to be loud, continue to voice your concerns. I want to say a big thank you to Kay and the family and the surrounding residents of this proposed site, this dump the dump site, and to the member for Central Wheat Belt for his powerful advocacy. In the election, let's be really, really clear, in the election in March, there were concerns raised about this tip. And so the people of Central Wheat Belt, the people of the Perth Hills, took it to Labor and said, will you build this tip? And what did they say? They said they wouldn't. They said they wouldn't build this tip. So to my surprise, the member for Central Wheat Belt comes to me a couple of weeks ago now and says, they've approved it. Unbelievable, a complete backflip. They've undermined their own integrity. They're clearly not listening to the community in the Central Wheat Belt, in York, or in the Perth Hills, because what we're concerned about in the Perth Hills is the enormous increase in traffic that's going to come up Great Eastern Highway, that's going to spill onto the surrounding highway. We're worried about the impact on the environment, the impact on our forests, and our drinking water. the largest catchment of drinking water in the entire metropolitan area. It's going to have a tip on the catchment. It makes absolutely no sense. I'll stand with you, we'll stand with you, and we'll continue to fight this. We're not backing down because it's the wrong place, and it's the wrong place for this kind of development. Now, I want to be really clear, because what's going to happen, I'm going to go back to that parliament now, and Labor's going to say, the member for Kalamundur's a NIMBY. Well, I've already got a tip. We've got the Red Hill tip right on the border of the Kalamunda electorate, right in the Perth Hills, and that's okay. There's capacity there for years to come. This is the wrong site. There's a future for landfill in other locations. There's waste to energy. There's plenty of other options. This is not the right one. Keep up the fight.
Thank you very much for the support from the Hills. I would now like to invite Brad Pettit, the WA leader of the Greens Party. Thanks, Brad.
Thank you very much, and thanks to all of you for coming down. Can I say, I always love it when you get up here and you realise that if all the parties, bar the ALP, actually acknowledge that this is a really stupid idea. And there's good reasons for that, because they're literally, one, it's not needed, as Kay pointed out, it's not needed. Two, the ALP actually promised that they wouldn't be doing this. And at the heart of this is actually, frankly, that this government has failed to plan and failed to actually roll out a proper way of dealing with waste. Extraordinarily, we set targets for getting two-thirds of waste out of landfill, doing all these things again and again. And we've failed to meet those. And then we end up with projects like this, in the wrong location, without the proper transport infrastructure to get there, damaging for communities, in absolutely the wrong spot and the wrong time. And sorry, without even talking about water. There are so many reasons, whether it be water, whether it be clearing of trees for black cockatoo habitat. There are so many reasons that we should not be doing this, especially in this location. This government needs to step up and have a proper waste plan that actually prioritises getting FOGO, prioritises recycling, and then ultimately waste to energy. In fact, making sure that we have so little landfill that new landfills like this aren't required. That's what they said they're going to do, but that's what they have failed to deliver. And good on you for coming down and holding into account today. You have the Greens 100% backing.
Thanks, Brad. It's fantastic to see everyone united here today. Our next speaker is Chris Gibbs, who is representing the Shire of York. Please make Chris feel welcome.
Thanks everyone for coming out. I'm Chris Gibbs, Shire President for the Shire of York. I'm a little bit... Okay. Local government is a very, very interesting space to work and survive and thrive in. We rely on partnerships with all the other levels of government. So to have members here today to help us work out a way to continue to advocate, continue to fight, and continue to resist what has already been outlined as a very questionable decision in terms of overall policy, and a questionable decision in terms of things that have been mentioned to us in the past, and in terms of positioning. We are 100 kilometres from our lovely Shire of York, 100 kilometres from the town of York, okay? It is something for everyone, not just the familiar faces who live there, not just for me who lives there, not for the people who have come from surrounding areas to support it, but an incredible place to visit because of its history, because of its primary production, because of its tourism. All of those things don't add up to landfill being put right there, in water catchment areas, okay, in the food bowl, at the gateway to the wheat belt, right, and all of the other shires and cities that these trucks may need to come through to get there in the first place. We're not talking about something that's going to be just off to the side of the Lakes Road as you head into York. We're talking about something that is 30 k's along that road. You pass through national parks. How many of you have seen those lovely sites where you have to slow down for a family of emus to walk across the road? You can't buy that. You can only go and see that. York has got that. We are unique and special, not only to the people who live there and in the surrounding shires and cities, but to the people of Western Australia, to the people of Australia, and indeed, if you come from overseas, a popular destination to see because it's very unique in our place in the world. And let's keep it that way, all right? I thank all of the members here today who have taken such time to help us raise awareness of what's going on here. The Shire of York Council remains committed. The Shire of York Administration remains committed. We are the community, we stand with the community, and we look forward to continuing to navigate this for good results for our Shire. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think it's worth mentioning that all members of the Parliament were invited to the rally today, including our Premier, Deputy Premier, and the Minister for Environment. To the best of my knowledge, no acknowledgement was received by them of the formal invitation, and so I think it's safe to assume that they will not be speaking to us this afternoon. So, without further ado, I would like to welcome our final speaker to the stage, Mr. Lachlan Hunter. Lachlan is our elected local member for the Central Wheatbelt District, and not only does he represent the people that will be affected by this proposal the most, but he is also quite passionate about our issues. Welcome, Lachlan.
Thanks, Jake. Push this down. I'm not as tall as your Shire President. So thank you so much to each and every one of you for making the trip here to the steps of Parliament House to send a very clear message to the Cook Labor government that we do not want a tip on the doorstep of Western Australia's most productive agricultural sector in the state of Western Australia. And Jake is right. We held this rally today on the steps of Parliament at 1 o'clock on a Thursday because each and every member of Parliament behind us is having a lunch break, including the Minister for the Environment, Matthew Swinburne. He didn't even have the intestinal fortitude to come out here or come out 100 kilometres from the Perth CBD and look you all in the eye and explain why he made this decision. So we came to him, and he couldn't even work 5 metres out the door to explain his decision making to you today. That is a shame. We've heard today about how disastrous this tip will be, not only for the Avon Valley communities, but for the member for Calamunda's electorate in the Perth Hills. On our prestigious water environment, I can tell you, if you look across the Swan River over there to South Perth, we'd be having a very different story if they wanted to build a tip just over there. The Nationals and the opposition will be fighting this tip every single step of the way for as long as we're breathing in that Parliament. So thank you so much for coming along today, for joining our cause, and we will not stop until this stupid idea is chucked out. Thank you.
Well, thank you everyone for coming. I believe we should all gather around to grab some choice photos for social media, if everyone's keen. Yes. And that will officially end the rally. Thank you.
Clean water, clean food, clean water, clean food. Tip!